Good afternoon. This is Tuesday, November 11th. This is the 3:30 meeting of the Lorain County Board of Commissioners. Please rise for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Riddell.
Here.
Commissioner Moore.
Here.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Here.
We have a quorum. Under resolutions, number 1, investments.
Move to approve. Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 2, appropriations.
Move to approve. Second.
Discussion.
I'm sure we do. Any discussion? Well, I guess basically, the way that this room is set up, we are starting to have our budget hearings today. And earlier today at our 10 o'clock meeting, the clerk of court, we discussed his budget for next year. And this is an example of the excess funds from your auto titles that he is giving back to the general fund from the auto licenses and everything else. So if you look on item number 1, that's what that is. We're just appropriating those funds back from them, and he's donating that back to the county's general fund. In our discussions today earlier in that public meeting, we mentioned maybe instead of waiting till the end of November so that we can help out with the shortfall that we're having for 26, if he could accelerate that donation. And he did acknowledge that he'll try to work with us in May or June of next year. So it was a good meeting. That's the first 2 that we've had, and we're going to have them every day this week, I believe.
Except Thursday.
Except for Thursday, so,
Yeah, that's Tom Orlando from Clerk of Courts.
yeah. So that's what what number 1 was for. Just wanted to let the public know.
Is there any further discussion on appropriations? Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 3, transfers.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 4, advances, repayments.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes. Stormwater, we have $800,000 advance transfer.
This is returning the money that was advanced out of most of the money that was advanced out of stormwater to fund, or to advance funds until we got reimbursed from H2 Ohio and National Fish and Wildlife. So we have drawn down now $900,000 from each of those grants. There's $100,000 remaining to be drawn down that we can't touch until we close out the grant early next year. So we're returning those funds that Stormwater put in back into the fund, and actually there probably is a transfer back out into the account where we'll be getting funding from Beckett. It will be deposited. So we just heard from them, and they've requested that we invoice them for the first $250,000. We'll be getting $500,000 this year, and then the remaining $500,000 early next year. So we sent the money out, we brought it back, we're putting it back out, and we'll be bringing it back in again.
I don't know if that's a clarification.
Oh. But basically, this is our working capital that came from our existing balance in stormwater. It's not from the general fund. So we put it in until we could get the grants, brought it back, and now we've got one other purchase order to finish up the project that we're advancing funds back into. I don't know if that was up there or not. I didn't bring my glasses today, so it's a little difficult for me to see.
There you go.
Stormwater advance out, watershed advancing. Yeah, okay, so they're both there. So we've brought 50,000 back and kept it of the million. I've got 200,000 still in the 2 accounts, and I moved 750, which will start coming back as Beckett is paying us.
Okay.
So
But I think the key figure that I was looking for, this is stormwater revenue
Strictly
from the
stormwater.
stormwater fees that everybody pays and the grants that you get, and is not a general fund item.
I should have started with that.
But it's also helping pay our bills on time.
Yes.
But thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything further? Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Number 5, requisitions.
We have page 2. And page 3. And page 4. Or 5, yes.
You got one more.
And we've got 5. We've got a few left over for 5.
Move to approve pages 1 through 5.
I will second that.
Discussion?
Yes. Is Kurt here? Did I see Kurt? Yes. Playing musical chairs today. So Kurt, would you help us with the requisitions for 911?
Sure, this is for a quality assurance program that we can use for all of our 911 calls, and including our 7-digit calls that come into our center. The state is starting to mandate that we do quality assurance for our medical calls. They want 2%, but we're above that. We're about at 12%. We just do our full arrest and traumatic calls right now with our medical director. But with this program, this will go with, as we plug in all of our policies and procedures, each call taker that takes a call, it goes back into that recording program. It grades it, and if they miss a step, it will let them know that, hey, this call, you forgot to do this part. If they do so many times of, say, forgetting to verify a phone number, it will send them, it will create a training program just based on that topic and make them do a little test, and it alerts management that they are required to do this and that they've finished and passed or failed it. That way we can continue making sure that they're doing everything proper and providing the proper services for the citizens and visitors of the county. Additionally, if we have a certain type of call, say like a full arrest, it will take that call and change the voice into their voice and use it as a training program for future hires or as a Con Ed situation that we would have to do. And then it has a hiring process that assists us in testing people out and making sure that we're getting the right candidates that know how to do the job or can do the job.
Very good.
So,
Thank you.
Anything
Just
further?
another comment. We're getting close to the end of the year, so you can see that there's a lot of cleanup going on. And the auditor's office has quite a few of the items on the requisitions this meeting, because those are services that we hired out in order to handle the Board of Revisions, where people came and questioned their tax bill, and there needed to be some further information. So appraisals got sent out.
Well, I don't like to say the word "we." I'd rather say the auditor hired these individuals to fight the values, and so they could testify down in Columbus. That's what I read. So that's what, if you see item number 2480 throughout, that's where the account's coming out of. And those are the dollar amounts that the auditor's paying these people to testify against those that came in through the Board of Revisions, challenging those values that came in. Is that right, Casey? I think that's how we looked at it.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
That's it?
Anything further? Okay. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Number 6, travel.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye. We were out of turn.
I see that, but you
Oh.
both said yes, so.
Okay.
Number 7, bills.
Okay, page 1 is the general fund. Page 2 starts special revenue funds. And page 3. Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Riddell,
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
We're not having executive, right?
No.
Okay. Is there public comment on agenda items? I think it was all just public
We
comment.
have one on agenda items 10 through 12. Mr. Phillips?
Brian's coming up too. Brian must have one too.
Good afternoon, Gerald Phillips from Avon Lake. Contrary to other people, I'm also a certified public accountant. So number 10, 11, and 12 caught my interest in the sense that the commissioners, according to 301.27, are getting a credit card up to the max of $5,000. I'd like to know what procedures the county has to assure pursuant to 301.27 for any loss, theft, or illegal expenditure of the funds, because that statute says the county should have a policy. So, is there such a policy? Yes? No?
You're welcome to ask the question, but
Oh, well, you want me to make a public records request? I will. Right now, you
We'll address it at the, in
you
discussion.
incur the expenditure and you have to go and ask for reimbursement, and then it gets reviewed. I'm concerned that, this is basically additional income. Has anybody looked at whether or not this is under the IRS code, an accountable or non-accountable plan? That's a tax issue that needs to be addressed. Otherwise, it should be reported as taxable income, and whether or not under IRS Code Section 162, these are ordinary, necessary, reasonable expenses, because those are the only ones that are taxable. Thank you.
Thanks, Gerald.
Brian, I'm kind of confused.
I signed up in both, and I'll explain it real quick for you.
Okay,
So just under old business, I asked if I could get a clarification on, it was item 11 from the last commissioners meeting. It's, 10/7, 2025. It talks about where you're gonna go out and you're gonna purchase all this property exclusive with Cresco going down Baumhart Road. I have it here if you want. I could read it or I can give it to you. What I'm asking is, what account will that money be coming out of if you do purchase property going all the way for whatever the new project is out there? And the reason I ask that question is because 2 pieces of property just sold there. As you guys know, I live probably 2.5 miles from there. One piece of property just sold there for $3.3 million, and another just sold on North Ridge Road, just sold for about $1.25 million. So we're talking about having a deficit of $5 million, but we're gonna go out and we're gonna buy pieces of property, and the ones I just gave you total up to almost $5 million. And if we're gonna go all the way to Vermillion, or wherever we're gonna go with this project, we're gonna spend a lot more than that. So will that come out of general treasury? And then my second question would be is, you have these special revenue accounts, and I guess when I look at them up there, where's the one for the jail? The $20 million that's set aside, is that just a general treasury account, or is that a special revenue? Because we've paid out of there up to somewhere around $2 million. Where's that reported on the special revenue? Because what you do is, you guys make a reference of an account. Is that still the general treasury, or is that a special revenue account? Because I know it's restricted, the $20 million was set aside as restricted. With that, thank you, and I'll see you at the next comment section.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks.
that's all we have.
Is there any old business? Board business, number 9, approve and waive the reading in the county commissioners meeting minutes of November 4th and 7th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Number 10, authorizing County Commissioner Jeffrey F. Riddell to apply for and utilize a credit card in the amount not to exceed $5,000 in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 301.27.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Do I discuss it now for all three of us?
Yeah, let's do all three of them.
All right, I gotta vote all three. We'll just discuss it right now.
Discussion
Yeah.
for all three and then
Yeah.
individually vote.
Okay. Go ahead. Who wants to start?
Well, again, this continuing to try and get our vendors approved. Those that have been watching, we've been taking departments by department and getting credit cards approved because the paperwork and the time necessary to get through the auditor's office to get vendors taken care of so that we can get things done has been a problem, and it falls on outside where credit has been refused to the county. So as a result, one of the things that was worked out was that if we did the credit card, the vendor gets paid. The paperwork is the same, but the paperwork is on the back end of the transaction instead of the front end. So it's holding us up from our paperwork, but it's not holding up the vendor from delivering the goods and services. And in regards to the policy, I don't know if Lee Prue wants to speak to that, the prosecutor's office, but
You looking it up?
but I believe we spent about 6 months developing a policy that has accountability and so forth.
Aaron's got it.
You know,
I can have a brief word about it. I wasn't, oh, wow, look at that.
How's
Somebody
Karen?
is,
That's why she's
So-
in charge.
Really
We
good.
didn't take into this lightly. It's just not a whim to go get a credit card. And the amounts were not selected lightly. They're selected because of the amounts that might be. You gotta remember with a credit card, just like at home, it covers 60 days. You charge, you have another 20 days to pay. So that credit card balance has to cover you for 60 days.
as in addition to what Commissioner Riddell is saying, this policy that was just handed to me, this is a 10-page policy. So, and months and months and months of discussions and determinations of how this policy should be put in place, when into actually getting the policy in place. I was not the lead on it, but one of my assistant prosecutors was the lead on it. She is extremely familiar with the contents of it. It was an extremely diligent process that was put forth to make sure that the policy was put into place appropriately. So I think we do have a number of controls that are going to be appropriate for implementation.
Well, yeah, but what really happened was we went to, you wanna tell the story, I guess? I'll let
Well,
you tell the
what
story.
happened was, we went to go to a trade show last year, and at that trade show, it exceeded our credit card balance, what we were able to put on a credit card, single credit card.
A single one
Yeah.
that the county administrator had.
The county administrator had, and so what it came down to is, we put some on our personal, and when you put that in, and we get reimbursed for it, well, when you do that, it's gonna take more than typical 30 days to pay it, and therefore, we're carrying interest if we didn't pay our credit card off in advance. So it was really a cumbersome procedure to be able to do even a trade show, and that's not our travel and entertainment, that's just reserving our booth space and so on. So I was the one who really pushed having credit card limits for each of us, just because of that reason alone. It wasn't a problem for me doing it, but I just don't think it should be done. It's not the right way to do business, where we're carrying the paper for the county when it comes to travel and entertainment. And it's not entertainment, it's, when we're going out and to a trade show and we have the food part of it. That, in my world, that's what that's called. But the travel part of it, it was very comprehensive, very expensive. Hotels at $300-400 a night when you're doing a trade show can add up real quick. You have anything more?
I wanted to add something real quick. Just to note, so that nobody thinks that anything is not being done above board, the ability to do this credit card policy and to have office holders have credit card cards is right in the Ohio Revised Code, and it was done in accordance with what's required of the Ohio Revised Code. So it's not as though this sort of came out of left field and was something that the commissioners dreamed up by themselves. This is something that is in the Ohio Revised Code that a number of other counties have also taken part in. So I just want to make sure that it's understood that none of this is being done to try to pad any extra income or anything like that. This is a responsible policy that's being put in place.
And I won't even carry the card. It'll be in the office at all times, just so you know, for me personally. I don't need to carry it.
But in the past weeks, you've seen where we've had credit cards set up for departments. There's continuing education. There are seminars that are required by law. There's certifications that have to be taken, classes and tests. And our employees have to go, usually out of town, to get those. And that sometimes means an overnight stay. And so, you know, rather than have all this paperwork to pay the vendor late, which causes us problems with the vendors, and rather than have the employee putting it out of his own pocket, his or her own pocket, which does create the question, is this for personal gain or is this for the community good? By having the credit cards, we have total control of the expenditures, we have total control of the paperwork. The vendor gets paid on time, which is something that we've been working on for several years to try and restore the credit rating of the county. So, again, this is not an opportunity to hide anything. All of these credit card receipts will all be public records. They're all scrutinized and have to be approved by the person in charge of the employee. And so as a result, you know, there are actually more checks and balances in this than some of the other stuff that we were using.
Yeah, I kind of got a little upset when you guys brought this up. I ran in 2000 when I was 38 and thought, well, let's try being a commissioner. My opponent at the time was using the county credit card for his own personal use. And he got in trouble for it, and that was in 2000. So the checks and balances that we have today is a lot better than we had back then. And whether or not that was one of the 3 issues I ran on, whether or not that's the reason why he lost, I don't know. Again, he was, I said I'd never take a credit card in 2000, and I didn't. I haven't had one in 4.5 years. And the only reason I'm kind of leaning this way now is because of what happened when we had to use personal. I started thinking, if we're using our personal credit cards, again, like what Mr. Phillips mentioned, how do you know if that credit card's being used for personal? Another issue is if we're getting points for that. Is that considered legal or illegal if I'm getting points for my own personal credit card to buy, $7,000 worth of rooms because I'm using my card to buy everyone's rooms? Now, is that considered, a wrong, personal gain?
Right,
I would say yes, it is. So I've questioned that with other agencies when they get these Speedway cards for gas. How do I know those people are not getting points for that and then benefiting financially for that? So the only reason why I am accepting it now is that there's no question when we did come back from that trip, we had to fill out the paperwork and we had to have it all detailed out. We were very diligent on making sure it was done right. And I can tell you right now, it cost us more than what we got reimbursed because we did not want to charge certain things and just decided to eat a lot of those expenses. So this also helps us with not paying the tax. My understanding is, so when we go, we get a I forget what it's called, exempt. We get exempted when we're paying because we are a government entity. So again, that's my history with county credit cards. It was like I said, that was 25 years ago that happened. So today the checks and balances are a lot stronger. So. Like I said, you heard I kind of yelled and said no way at first, but okay, you guys convinced me. So,
I think it hit us both when we both paid those hotel bills or whatever it was.
yeah. Well, this year, just to let you know, in regards to that trip, we had a meeting last Thursday with the Visitors Bureau, and that they'll be picking up a lot more of the expense this time because we are promoting Lorain County. So, give you two a heads up. So.
Okay.
Anything else? Commissioner Moore?
Thanks. Oh. Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Number 11, authorize County Commissioner David J. Moore to apply for and utilize a credit card in the amount not to exceed $5,000 in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 301.27.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
12, authorizing County Commissioner Marty Gallagher to apply for and utilize a credit card in the amount not to exceed $5,000 in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code 301.27.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
13, approve and enter an MOU between the Ohio Department of Administrative Services, Office of First Responder Communications, Multi-Agency Radio Communication Systems, and Lorain County Board of Commissioners A $400,000 grant will be used towards the communication tower located at French Creek Wastewater Treatment Plant in Sheffield Village. This tower is part of the Lorain County P25 trunked repeated 7800 MHZ simulcast wireless communication public safety system and will be completed by December 31st of 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yep.
Yes. Karen, can you speak to this in Jeff's absence? I know he's not able to be here today.
Yes, Commissioner. So it was brought to our attention by Marks that previously, I believe it was the city of Sheffield Lake had applied for a grant to build a tower several years ago, and it had been approved. So the state had allocated the $400,000 for a Marks Tower in Lorain County. And Marks, on our behalf, actually contacted the state and said, hey, Lorain County's building a tower, but instead in Sheffield Lake, it's in Sheffield Village. So they contacted us, said apply for these funds. You can use them towards the construction of the tower in Sheffield Village. It's at French Creek. So the construction of the tower is already complete. So we'll be able to reimburse the general fund the money that it spent towards the construction of those towers. As far as our tower project goes, we did get held up a little bit in Wellington with trying to get the fiber underneath the railroad. That fiber cable has been run, Spectrum has been out, all the equipment's been installed as of last Thursday. The last piece we need is for Ornet, who is supposed to be on site tomorrow, to do the final Marks equipment on that tower, and then we should be ready to simulcast the system there shortly thereafter. We are scheduled to do in-building tests starting December 2nd. We have a team, Jason Roblin with MCM, Jeff Young with Lorain County, and a few others. They're going to be reaching out to our building locations and scheduling times to go to the buildings and testing, making sure that the radios are working inside the buildings. So
Okay.
hopefully that's a pretty good update.
That's a great update, except you stole some of your time from the
The administrator's report?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give that time back to you. How's that?
Okay. But yes, this is a case where this was discovered by Marks, and they did the paperwork necessary to write the check to Lorain County and help reimburse some of the expenses for building the tower in Sheffield Village, which is, it's always good news.
Okay. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Solid Waste Amendment Resolution 23-206, adopted March 7th of 23, entering in contract with Resource Recycling Systems, Inc. of Ann Arbor, Michigan for implementation assistance of the current solid waste management plan. Said amendment is due to both ongoing technical assistance and providing implementation assistance through the fourth quarter of 2025 in the amount of $18,000, and this will be paid from the Solid Waste Commissioners Health Contractual Purchase Service Consultant Services Solid Waste account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
CBCF 15, reject a bid received from PAC Property Holdings Limited, DBA Everline of Cleveland, for the epoxy floor replacement project and authorize a rebid for this project after January 1st of 26. This bid received was over 20% of the estimate.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Jones Services 16, authorize and rescind various personnel to utilize the agency's MasterCard for the year 2025, not to exceed 2,500, in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code and their permissible policy.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Gallagher?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Mr. Riddell?
Aye.
Engineer 17, amendment resolution 25338, adopted May 9th of 25, to correct project funding breakdown and increase the local funds for nickel plate diagonal road resurfacing project by an amount of $12,939.30 to Carville Companies, Inc. The funding breakdown indicated that OPWC would provide $334,480, and Lorain County Engineer will provide $117,520. The amendment is to reflect total project is $415,359.30, with OPWC providing $284,900, and the remaining funds of $130,459.30 will be provided by the engineer project account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
18, accept on behalf of Lorain County Engineer the improvements to Sandstone Parkway between State Route 58 and Overland Road, Amherst Township. Public improvements were completed by Fetchco Excavating LLC, and the plat of the roadway is recorded in Volume 113, page 54, Lorain County Records of Plats for Sandstone Parkway, County Road C 414, 1.325 miles in length, State Route 58 to Overland Road.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
Yes, for those that have been following the Sandstone project, this is what they call the spine road, and this was negotiated as part of the deal. The county is paying for Fetchco to install this road to provide direct access from Overland Road to 58. There's not a lot of county road and access, and this will alleviate, this was part of the traffic considerations for that whole area of Amherst Township, was that there would be a second road besides 113 that would take traffic from Overland Road to 58. So the project is complete, and if you go down 58, you'll see that entrance is there now, and that will be a county road that's county paid for, and the county will be in charge of the maintenance on that road.
Okay. Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Dow?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Developmental Disabilities, request Lorraine County Auditor pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 570503 to certify Lorraine County Board of Commissioners the total current tax valuation of Lorraine County that has territorially located in Lorraine County and the dollar amount of revenue that would be generated by a .70 mil, a .77 mil, or a .85 mil for the purpose of Lorraine County Developmental Disabilities under Ohio Revised Code 5705.19L and 5705.22 for 5 years placed on the May 5th, 2026 ballot. No, May 5th, 2026 ballot for 5 years.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes. I mean, basically, Casey, you could help, right? This is basically, they're asking to be, the auditor to give them three options here.
Yeah.
0.7.
Essentially, that's the request is being made. We're just making the request to the auditors to give the valuation for at those three different levels.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're not voting to say
Right.
yes or no. All we're voting is to allow the auditor to give them the dollar amount so they can decide on which one, so that then the public will be able to vote in May in order whether or not they want some more levies on their property tax.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
Anything further?
Nope.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Dow?
Aye.
Prosecutor, 20, authorize acceptance of VOCA and SCAA grant in the amount of $108,253.18 for the Victim Witness Program administered through the Lorain County Prosecutor's Office from the Ohio Attorney General's Office, and requires a 20% cash match effective retroactive to October 1st, 25 through September 30th, 26. This will pay for partial salaries of 6 full-time victim advocates, and a match of $27,061.21 will be paid from the Commissioner's General Fund allocation account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
County Administrator?
No report this afternoon.
Sure you gave it.
You gave it already.
Yeah, I did.
She'll have something on Friday, won't you?
Yes, I will.
Yes, you will.
Okay, so,
Here we go.
we start our budget work sessions this morning, so I won't read that. But Wednesday, tomorrow, November 19th, 9:30 will be the recorder, 11 a.m. will be the coroner, 11:30 will be the treasurer, and 12 o'clock will be probate. On Friday, November 21st, 10:30 will be veterans, 11:30 will be the sheriff. Monday, November 24th at 9 a.m. will be Board of Elections, 10 a.m. the prosecutor. Tuesday, November 25th, 9 a.m. the common pleas, and 11 a.m. the auditor. As well as on Thursday, December 18th at 2:30, the county commissioners will have a joint public hearing along with the county planning commission regards to the subdivision regulations of Lorain County. That same day at 3:30, there will be a special county planning commission in regards to the subdivision regulations of Lorain County. And that same day at 3:40 will be a special commissioners meeting in regards to subdivision regulations of Lorain County.
So, we're gonna hit the number, right? We'll be okay with public hearings? Does that count or no? That doesn't?
No, but you guys are fine.
We are fine?
Yeah, these are just extra bonuses to be all together all the time.
Okay. I remember one year we were having issues.
I know,
Yeah.
but no, we're good this year.
Okay.
I might just add that the subdivision regulations are actually the regulations by which subdivisions are constructed. Has nothing to do with local township zoning or any of those types of issues. It just has to do with what type of construction is acceptable and the goals so that the future, buyers of the real estate will be protected. So, that's been a project of almost over a year. We worked at it with the engineer's office as well as the planning commission to eliminate conflict in rules where they didn't agree and streamline this process so that, developers can get in and get out in recognition of the short season that we have here in northern Ohio. So it was a big project. It doesn't involve anything other than how the developers are required to hire contractors to actually do the work.
Yep. And in regards to the clerk's report on the budget work sessions, we had one today at 9 and at 10 o'clock. We are, as you can see, the way the room is set up for public to witness how your other elected officials request money. And we are the budget authority, and we are set up in order to have open discussions. They're on YouTube. So if you want to go to our site or take a look at it, we are videotaping these. We literally didn't have anybody in the audience for that one, but, budgets aren't really that important until they run out of money. And right now, the shortfall is the request from everybody in the county was 97 million. What we voted on in July was 82 million. The discussion today was that we're looking at maybe a 4 or 5% conservative number from the auditor, which means it takes us about 86 million. So these discussions that you're going to be seeing, if you don't want to come and watch, you can watch on the internet, is the discussions on how we are going to be trimming the other elected officials' budgets to make sure that we can come in within our allotted budget. To clear up some of the air, this is an operation budget. This isn't, as Mr. Baker talked about, the other accounts that were set up in order to take the excess funds from ARPA that we could use for lost revenue. And what we did with those extra funds was use it for infrastructure in this county, which is what the money was supposed to be used for. We could debate all day on some of the issues we had a couple of years ago on how they spent the money. But 20 million was set aside for the jail, which I disagreed with, and I've said that last week. The other money in which we use the ARPA funds to invest in ourselves for the mall, that will be coming back once that transfers, as will the jail. We'll have that discussion probably in the next 30 to 60 days. And that has nothing to do with the operations of this county. We are looking at the revenue streams that are coming in for this county, which is roughly about 86 million, and that's what these discussions are about. And so if you want to stay tuned, take a look. I would say today was a good meeting with domestic relations. Clerk of course is more of a kumbaya moment, but the rest, tomorrow you can see the recorder, coroner, treasurer, probate may not be exciting, but if you want to see how your money's spent by the other elected officials, this is the time to take a look at what they're asking, and this is when we have open discussions. We've never had it. Usually the commissioners sit up here, they come to the podium, and we didn't like that. We wanted to be on the same level with everybody and have an open, friendly discussion. Because the last thing we want is what's been going on for probably 10 years, is where the judges order their budget, and it forces us to come back and amend the budgets. So what we're doing is together, working together with all the electeds to make sure that we can come to a mutual understanding on how 2026 will be ran. Because it's an operations. The money is for how do you operate your county government when everyone's asking for 97 million and we only have 86 for 26. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, other than it was a very good,
It was a good discussion.
good decision on the way it's done, and also it was a very fruitful and organized event this morning between the two groups, and I think we made great progress.
So, and to answer that question, to build on what Commissioner Moore said, there are several specialty funds that are related to assets, and they're on the balance sheet, but they're not part of the operating budget. By that, I mean that they're not part of the day-to-day operations. And previous board set aside $20 million to help push the jail project along. We've executed some contracts on that, and they've all been taken out of there. They've all been publicly disclosed by resolution at regular meetings. So there's, all the accountability is in place, but they do not appear in the budget because they're not part of the daily operating budget of the county. Yeah, again, the three numbers everybody needs to remember is 82 million is the expected flow from taxes into the county. 86 million is what we think it will be. The auditor takes a conservative approach, which is to his credit, but we want to try and stretch that a little bit rather than get a windfall in November, December. And then the 97 is what the requests were in July. So we've got to make the 97 fit somewhere between the 82 and 86. And the 20 is not part of that because that money was ARPA money set aside to further the concept of getting the jail built in the future of Lorain County.
Or infrastructure.
Yes, permanent improvement.
Well, you had to have that money spent by the end of '24, or earmarked, and then spent by the end of '26. And so we used, the federal government allowed us to use that money to fix the lost revenue, as they called it. When the previous board, before we took office, reduced the sales tax from 6.75 to 6.5, that actually counted as lost revenue, and that is why we were able to move almost half of the 60 million that was gifted to us from the previous federal government to Lorain County. That was our benefit, and we were fortunate because it was by cutting the sales tax from 6.75 to 6.5, kind of hurt the general fund to the tune of about $14 million a year. But we did it, and we maintained the 6.5% sales tax over these past 4.5 years. And it looks like we're gonna have to continue to live within that mean. And so the ask of 97 million, unfortunately, is not gonna happen. So stay tuned to these budget work sessions if you want to see what's going on with all the other elected officials and how they spend your money.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
Board correspondence.
Move to waive the reading of the board correspondence.
Second,
Discussion.
third.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Mr. Gallagher?
Aye.
Is there any new business?
Yes. Kurt, I'm gonna put you on the spot. I received an email today from one of your staff. And I thought rather than sharing that email, since you were gonna be here, I would let you tell the story because you should be proud of it.
I have a great team of dispatchers and team of management at 911, and yesterday I'd come back from a meeting, and I walked into the comm center, and it was calm chaos. We had two major structure fires going on at the same time. They were neighboring communities, so all the resources were pulled at one, and then we had to pull resources from another. The way our system is designed, with the fire departments having automatic mutual aid and MABUS boxes, it pulls from those different levels. As we got everybody going, everything went pretty smoothly as it can for a chaos, but everything went well, everybody worked together. Management came out of their offices and helped pitch in where help was needed. They were getting a lot of phone calls coming in, so they helped take calls and help with radio traffic. They did a really good job. Very proud of them. They got a good team.
Very good, congratulations.
Thank you.
And it was one of the co-workers from 911 that sent me the email and wanted the commissioners to know that the management team was there 100%, shouldering the burden with them and stepping in and filling the gaps. And kudos to you and the previous director. You've built a great team. That's all the new business I have.
Okay, public comment.
Okay, public comment. For those that have not been here before, the public comment is 2 minutes to where you can share your opinions on whatever activity the county is doing. Make sure you confine it to the activities of the county. You know, we're not going to debate issues with state and federal government, but the issues of the county, you have 2 minutes. We will endeavor to keep the hourglass up here. We keep track of the time, but the hourglass is so that if you're at the speaker's podium, you can see how you're doing on time. Some of the people come up with their own, with their phone and their own time, but it will not be a question and answer period, but we will record questions that you ask, or if you make comments that we think need to be addressed. That's what we use the sheet of paper that you filled out for. We will make notes on that, and we will try to address those in future meetings, and in some cases, when necessary, individually direct back to the person who raised the issue. So let's try and stay to the 2 minutes each, so that we respect the opportunity for everybody to speak. We have 11 people today. Jennifer Clark, you get to be first. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Clark. I'm a resident of Oberlin. Do you need my full address, or?
Yes, please.
It's 233 Forest Street in Oberlin. I have a couple questions/comments for the board. I'm going to try and keep them very brief. But the first is that during the South Amherst Fire Department meeting, many figures were given for the cost of the overall quote-unquote mega site /sewer / wastewater treatment project. I'd like to know overall, what is the total? Because we've heard 247, we've heard 180, and yet we know that we have 67 million from the Ohio Jobs Fund. So we'd like to know where the rest of that money is coming from specifically to pay for that, and how it's going to affect taxpayers. Also, if the 67 has already been allocated and spent directly for that project. Second, on the loan application for the Ohio Jobs, or for the parameters of that $67 million, it has been stated by commissioners that there was overwhelming community support for the project that was demonstrated. We would like to know who were the communities that overwhelmingly supported the sewer, wastewater management, and mega site infrastructure project in order to obtain the $67 million. Where is this documented? Because we're tracking huge opposition from the affected communities. So we would like to know who was actually polled, where are those numbers, who are the people, so that we can see and maybe even approach them to hear their side of the perspective. The third is that the site labeled mega site, whether that is a legal term or not, north of Russia and east of 58 in New Russia Township is currently 583 acres that is being up for rezoning. Inside that airport boundary of the county is 315 acres that could be sold for a total of 900. We know that the legal definition of a mega site is 1,000 acres, and yet the term 1,600 potential acres has been tossed around. So we'd like to know, where is the other acreage? Is it something that is being proposed for future development? Is it across the street from this New Russia Township, from Russia Road across from the airport? Like, where is the additional acreage coming from outside of the total 900 or the total 583 to be rezoned or potentially rezoned? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it Noel Bars?
$25,765 requisitions.
Good day. My name is Noel Vargo. I reside at 233 Forest Street in Oberlin. I've been a firefighter, paramedic for over 33 years, most of the time here in Lorain County. I'm just here to address the coverage for the proposed airport increase and mega site. The NFPA and the FAA have strict guidelines, which the FAA has ultimate say-so on. Once an airport is a controlled space, it will require a 4-minute response time anywhere on the airport property. So that requires a 4-wheel drive vehicle with firefighting capability for an aircraft called an ARF truck. That requires 4 minutes. No department in the county can meet that 4 minutes to the airport, period. That will require something on site. Presently, Oberlin Fire covers that, and I presently work at Oberlin Fire Department, and Chief Hamner said he put a 3-page paper addressing this, as well as the surrounding department chiefs put forth a 5-page response on that as well. What will be done to address this? And with the backlog of up to 4 years for firefighting equipment, doesn't matter the manufacturer, and the increased cost, a starting airport fire rescue truck is $1.5 million. So who's going to cover the cost for all this? Oberlin Fire can't afford it. South Amherst can't afford that. No city can afford to right now pony up $1.5 million for a truck that they don't know if they will be needing or not needing, and it'll take 4 to 5 years to get it. And how will it be staffed? Who's going to pay for that? Will the Port Authority take over for that? And if so, how will the Port Authority pay for that truck and said staffing? And then if there's the mega site that goes along with said airport extension, how will that get covered? Will the surrounding departments, South Amherst and Oberlin, be required to handle that as well without the additional funds to handle that? So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
William Zimmerman?
Good afternoon, William Zimmerman, Avon Lake. So I've had some conversations with Vermillion and trying to understand where they're going with the 6119. And they don't have money to do it all. They're under edict from the EPA currently. So their facility is probably not equipped to be able to be a part of this. So, as this gentleman just said, or the woman before, talking about the money from the $67 million that the county's already gotten, how are we going to divide that to try to make some of these communities whole in the sense of being able to do their own sewage? Now, on the eastern side, Avon Lake down to Eaton Township, I've had conversations with some of you, and you all know how we stand in Avon Lake. We do not want to give up our regional water company. We don't feel that that's a good deal. It's not even close. We've been taxpayers for a long time, taking care of that facility, maintaining it, and making sure that it's been able to function at the capacity that it does. We're taking on new people down in Eaton. They're pumping it all the way up to Avon Lake. There's no reason for Avon Lake to give up its facility. I don't think that that'll ever happen. So my question then becomes, is the west side of the county going to get all this money, and then they're going to have an opportunity to try to make it whole and work it? Because, as I've indicated before, Lorco already owes us $12 to $15 million. And we've had small discussions about that, and some of you make it seem as though we'll never see that money. And as a good steward, that would be a disappointment. I don't think that should ever come to that. Thank you for my time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Amanda Quimper?
Amanda Quimper, 2299 West River Road, Elyria. I, a woman on the land in Lorain County, Ohio, representing the men and women here today in protest of the proposed light industrial or industrial mega site and/or data center. I hereby present the will of the people assembled in the bilateral social compact of Lorain County Committee of Safety, and we invoke the Articles of Confederation and all aforementioned doctrine. It is by this authority we address your overreach upon the subjects in our nation. A Committee of Safety's authority comes from the First Amendment of the Bill of Rights, the right to assemble, and the Seventh Amendment, the right to convene a common law grand jury in the United States Constitution. Our rights come from our Creator, God, period. The Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Articles of Confederation, and the Bill of Rights are well-established government limits. The Declaration makes it clear that we are endowed with unalienable rights, that governments derive their powers from the consent of the governed, and that when any government becomes destructive of these ends, life, liberty, and property is the people's right and duty to alter or abolish this government. Public servants take an oath to uphold these foundations, and the aforementioned constitutions remain the legally binding doctrines. I, Amanda Joan Quimper, a woman, putting you on notice to cease and desist within 7 days from receipt of this notice all forms of industrial, mega site, and/or data center activity in Lorain County, as these projects violate our unalienable rights and deny the people due process of law under the laws of the United States Constitution. This constitutes a wrong, harm, and trespass against the people. These sites cause noise, stress, and health issues in many areas. Electric bills rose 80% and water bills 75%, and wells ran dry. They pollute air, water, and light, and often pay no taxes for years, leaving the people to foot the bill. I ask and pray that we choose what protects our people, our land, and all wildlife, and our future generations. Thank you for your time and consideration and being held accountable by the people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrew Krugman.
That's the thing I gave you.
Hello, my name is Andrew Krugman. My address is 1130 Lake Avenue, Elyria, Ohio. I, a man on the land of Lorain County, do not consent to any rezoning for industrial use, including light, industrial mega sites, or data centers. Our county already suffers some of the highest air pollution in the U.S. These facilities risk contaminating our water, polluting our air, raising our electric and water bills over 75%, and exposed us to harmful 5G antennas and cell tower radiation. As this would be a trespass upon the people, I place this as my first formal notice on the public record. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
James Kalick? Kalick?
Kalick.
Which one? Thank you.
Yes, sir. James Kalick of 1004 Powell South Amherst Road in Oberlin. So it's pretty fitting we're talking about budget today because I didn't even realize we were going to be talking about that, but it kind of fits into my concerns, which are around the sewer and megasite project that we're talking about. So my first concern is we have $67 million grant. And I'm going to put grant in parentheses because when I read it on the website, it actually says that it's a partially forgivable loan. So I'm going to ask you about that in a moment. But you told us that the project's going to be somewhere around $180 million. So if we have $67 million, I really want to know where that extra $100 million is going to come from because I know that the rest of Lorain County does not want to pay that. I think we just voted down a $13 million tax bill, right? So we're going to 10x that and ask for $100 million for some developers to come in and help suit them. Does not make sense to me. I'd like you guys to clarify, is this a partially forgivable loan? Because that's what the website says. So that, and so I think it was like 25% we would still owe of that, and then we have to meet certain parameters within a 5-year time period. Can you guys clarify what those parameters are? Can you also provide us the plan that you provided to, was it Team Neo, to get the grant? Because we've been shown no plan, but you guys must have some kind of plan if you're able to get a grant for 67 million. We've been asking for clarity on this project, and we've gotten nothing back, and we're getting stonewalled. I went to a local New Russia meeting. Commissioner Moore said I need to go attend more meetings. I just went to a local 1111, went to a zoning meeting, was there to see the zoning items being introduced. It was done in complete silence. They handed out a piece of paper and read it silently amongst themselves and tried to close the meeting, and then left without any discussion with the public. So it's really hard for us to kind of figure out what's going on. Now, I did see the next day that what was introduced was the biggest zoning change that's happened in New Russia history, which is a 544 or 583, however, 500 and something acre piece of acres of property they're trying to rezone into commercial use, which is completely contradictory to our land use plan. So was hoping for some clarity on that. That's really my main stuff today. So I'm very concerned about the mega site. I'm a local resident over there. I worked in Westlake. I moved to South Amherst to be a part of that community, part of the rural community, and I'm very disappointed to see the direction that it's going, and I'm really disappointed in my local government and you guys for how you have handled the situation, keeping everything highly secretive, and we're trying really hard now to be involved, and we're still not getting any information. So hoping that you guys can shed some light on some of those questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
I take it the meeting you went to was in New Russia Township? You just said,
sir.
okay.
11:11. It's on video. It's on YouTube.
Jeff Kudlow?
Jeff Kudlow from 45155 Butternut Ridge Road in Oberlin, Ohio. Aside from massive resource consumption, pollution, the absence of any real jobs coming, and the destruction of the rural way of life in New Russia Township, I'm here on a much more basic issue, and is to follow up what Jimmy mentioned, and is to follow up what Jen mentioned, and follow up what others have mentioned. It is to demand transparency into the project scope and the project budget for the mega site. The $67 million loan from the Ohio Future Fund does not cover the cost to build the West Side Water Recovery Facility and the 12 miles of pipeline to connect it to the airport. Commissioner Moore told us that we would still need another $100 million at least to finish the project. Initiating this project without secured funding puts the county in a hostage situation. Either we have to pay the $100 million to complete the project, or we're on the hook to repay the $67.4 million to the Department of Development for an incomplete project. You have a fiduciary responsibility not to do this. I am here to request, and the residents of Lorain County have a right to receive three things. First of all, a copy of the complete application submitted by Team NEO or Jobs Ohio on behalf of the county. We deserve transparency into the project scope. Secondly is a copy of the award letter identifying use and repayment conditions. We deserve transparency into the project deliverables. And third, and most importantly, is a current copy of the master plan with the complete project budget. Where will the other $100 million come from? As Jimmy mentioned, are you going to ask from the taxpayers who just turned down $13 million last Tuesday? Or will you try to fund the $100 million through bonds in order to elude voter approval and voter awareness? We have a right to transparency in the actions taken by this office, and the mega site is no exception. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian Baker?
Brian Baker, 49822 Greystone Drive, Brownholme Township. I just have like 5 or 6 questions here. I know I'm not going to get an answer because I never get one when I come here, but I would ask if any of these have come up. Abatement, TIF, JED, annexation, or 6119 for anything in the project that's going to be on New Russia Township. The reason I ask that is if you don't have a JED or you don't have annexation, you can't collect income tax in a township. So we talk about revenue, there's no revenue coming. Why I say the TIF for abatement, we talk about not being able to fund our schools, We talk about the property tax. I would challenge all three of you commissioners, if any of that conversation comes up, 100% has to go to the schools. And I'm gonna go back on TIF, and there's two of you here for sure, and there's probably three. The gentleman that brought TIF to Lorain County was a guy named Sandy Prudoff. Sandy Prudoff was the biggest crook in this county. And abatements and TIF are the biggest crime that goes in this county. That's why we have problems from 30 years ago. Me and Mr. Armbruster had this conversation. We've defunded our schools through TIFs and abatements. That can't continue to happen, because then it comes back to the residents. You just put another, well, potentially put another levy on the ballot. It's gotta stop. But I say this in here, pay attention to these pieces, and anybody out here in the public needs to really pay attention to them, because if you don't take annexation or you don't have a JED, there's $0 in income tax. Everybody knows I come out of construction. That means every construction worker out there doesn't pay no income tax to build it. This is nonsense. This is smoke and screens. Not only the gentleman talked about 67 million, we have to come up with 22 million more from the county. Jeff, I would say, and I thank you for the explanation on the 20 million, I wasn't asking about saying it was spent wrong. What I was saying is I'd like it up on the screen somehow so that we could see what's left in the fund for the jail account. If it can't happen, I understand it. That's what I was asking. My last point before I sit down, I would thank you guys for finally doing these public budget, whatever you call them, work sessions. I've asked here since I came home in 2022. This is the first time in 4 years. And Marty, you must have got it done, because it wasn't done till you got back in town. So thank you, guys.
You gonna take my credit? You gonna take the credit? Thanks, Brian.
Robertson? Roberts? Yeah, I apologize, I can't make out, is it David Ronald? David Ronald, okay, thank you.
Dave Roberts, I'm at 19401 Whitehead Road, LaGrange. I was here on the 4th, and I gave you public notice at that moment. I now have written notice. You will be receiving it by registered mail, and I have also copies to be given here. Transparency is a violation of oath of office when you don't grant it. And we will be holding you accountable by law for not providing full and complete and 100% transparency. Under constitutional law, you're not allowed to enter into NDAs. I don't care what the state of Ohio tells you you're allowed to do. The supreme law of the land is the Constitution, the federal Constitution. I explained that last time I was here, and now I'm going to present in writing. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's me.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Gerald Phillips? Something further?
I'm on camera, huh? Gerald Phillips, Avon Lake, 20-year resident of Avon Lake. Clearwater. If Avon Lake doesn't get control of the board, there's no deal. If Avon Lake doesn't get paid their $15 million from Lurco, there's no deal. We're not going to sell the assets. $100 million, we're not going to sell the assets, and we're not going to lease them for $2 a year. We're not going to fund the working capital that is needed for it. That's going to be a year, which is in the current proposal. County's going to fund that working capital if they want to participate. You got to put something in the deal. You got nothing in the deal, and yet you want to become part of it. You got nothing. We got to bail out the county and the Eaton Place self-storage plant that's under EPA edict. You're getting a benefit. Lorco's getting a benefit. Avon Lake Regional Water is getting nothing. And as a resident, I'm gonna make sure we get a good deal. How about the west side? Vermillion is the worst plant ever. Avon Lake Regional Water is the gem and the best treatment plant in Northeast Ohio, and we're not giving it away. So it's gonna cost $100 million to renovate Vermillion, 67 in the grant. You're 33 million short. Plus you gotta fund 12 miles of sewer. How are you gonna pay that? Bonds? How are you gonna get the revenue stream to do that? How many people are gonna go there and pay in tap-in fees to cover it? I haven't seen any pro forma. Financially, it's not feasible. It's not. Now, the residents in New Russia Township, if there's a rezoning, you have the right of referendum. You can put any rezoning on the ballot. I've done many of them. I have a group called Ohio Citizens for Honesty, Integrity, and Openness in Government. That's what we do. We give the people the right to vote on major issues. We're going to do it in Avon Lake on the power plant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Samuel Menges?
Hi, I'm Sam Mangus, and I live at 42540 Russia Road in Elyria, Ohio, in Carlisle Township. And I am, I don't think it's good that the mega site is going to be on farmland that could be used for generations. When I'm the future and I don't want this here. And I don't think it's good for any future farmer. And it's going to cause pollution and health problems. And this isn't good. And I talked to the state representative and she's not getting any information. We're not getting any information. So yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you for coming in and speaking.
Is there anyone else that maybe was unfamiliar that didn't get a chance to fill out paperwork to speak? That wants to speak? Okay. Well, thank you for your participation tonight. We did take notes, and as I indicated, there will be a response to the issues raised, and some of it may be in public, some of it may be directly to you, depending on the nature of the question that you asked. But thank you for coming out to our meeting tonight, and there being no further business, the meeting is adjourned.
You need a copy of this?
I